As I speak these words for myself, please know them for you, as we are one. In this moment, I simply recognize my many blessings. To even be born, for this life, to be born in this time and place, for the abundance that surrounds me, for so much time, energy, and money that goes beyond just meeting my basic needs. That I get to show up in this space today. That I get to feel, know, and experience the oneness for each of you here. And in this space of gratitude, I simply recognize that oneness that we all share with one another and with each living creature. In fact, everything on the planet and beyond. I realize that everything works together for my good, even when it doesn't appear that way. And today I know that Reverend Diana is that space where Spirit expresses. And so I pay attention. What is there for me to learn? What is there that I can grow, that space that I can grow, that opportunity? What's my next magnificent yet to be? So in this space of gratitude, I simply release my prayer knowing that my word is power and that it is already manifesting. It already exists in the mind of God. And together we affirm this by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So good to see you here this morning. If you're new with us here online this morning, my name is Reverend Diana Johnson. I'm the pastor and spiritual director for Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. We're an independent interfaith community. We teach universal principles and practical spirituality. And we open our doors in welcome, knowing that you may be very well led to the wisdom and guidance of your own mystic heart. So we begin our Taizé this morning with musical prayer.
You got
So I settle into the stillness now, allowing the breath to rise and fall. To find its own pace and sense of flow. Allowing the breath to slow and become silent. Feeling the presence of the One. And using the power of inner vision to connect with our global community. Together we sense and tune into the web of consciousness that surrounds and infuses the planet. Each of us connected to everything and everyone. Each one of us a radiant point of light in the web. Trusting that every human, without exception, shines with the light of Spirit. Every animal, every plant and microbe is sacred. Every rock and grain of sand, every drop of water is holy. Each and every part of the all that is, a thread in the tapestry that is creation. All necessary, all divine, all a part of the one light, the one life, the one source. As we acknowledge our connection with all of life, we are empowered. Our work is empowered. Our light shines brightly for the greatest good of all. Our collective prayer and meditation leave an imprint of peace, of harmony and grace on the world. We're contributing to the conscious evolution of humanity, the conscious evolution of our beautiful planet. And all that is beyond. This month we're contemplating wild wisdom. And this morning we're making a journey into the wild wood. We set the stage for this morning's reflections with a passage from Church of the Wild by Victoria Lourse. Once upon a time, all humans knew their lives, their food, their survival, their sense of meaning and kinship with God or the gods was connected with all their relations. The hawks and soil and ferns and mosquitoes. Like all the other wild creatures, they belonged to the land, and they knew it. They were untamed and self-willed, and listened to their own intrinsic authority. They were part of a grand conversation, a relationship of reciprocity and respect, connecting them with all the other beings and elements of life. But there came a time when some of the people could no longer hear the conversation. An elixir fell over the poppy fields like Dorothy entering Oz, causing them to fall asleep. The wax in their ears became hardened, and their hearts pretended that they were happier controlling the world than loving it. They rushed right past the burning bushes on the way to importance, missing the message of the doe hiding in plain sight with her newborn fawn. They packed the bodies of forest cathedrals into trucks and shipped them to the mills. They forgot that the thrush songs spelled out warnings and wisdom in octaves. Disconnected little by little, their voices went missing in the symphony of aliveness. The songs of the wild God cascading through the trees no longer guided their lives. And a deep loneliness sunk down upon the people like a heavy fog nobody could see. The time has come to lift the veil of fog and return to intimate relationship with the living world. More and more of us are taking our place once again as full participants in the web of life, which we remember is held together by love. There are no magic words to incant, no spiritual laws to memorize, no ruby-slippered heels to click 3 times. You simply need to learn how to listen and allow your heart to be broken just like you do every time you fall in love. Because the holy is in your place too. You open the gates into this enchanted land, your home, with hands muddied from the soil outside your house, and a raw, scabby, and unprotected heart. You enter, naked and brave. Together we go into the wild wood, looking at what the forest has to offer our spiritual journey. Lesson 1. We are all connected. Every creature in the forest accepts its dependence on the others. There's a natural exchange of nutrients and resources. Whatever is needed flows naturally to where it is needed. No one takes more than it needs. All resources are shared. There is an inherent sense of harmony, of community, of belonging. Lesson 2. Build a strong foundation. In the forest, trees can grow very tall and wide because they have built strong foundations. Vast, thick trunks, networks of stilt roots, and wide buttressed roots. They are an integral part of a system, of the forest itself. Like trees in the forest, we are all part of one human community, and we depend on one another. We can create a strong foundation for ourselves through our human networks of connection and by staying grounded. in the sacred. Lesson 3. Disturbance is not bad. In the forest, disturbances are an integral part of the system. They bring in new life. In a mature forest, the taller trees absorb nearly all the sunlight, so the forest floor is permanently shaded. Nothing new can grow until a lightning strike or a flash flood causes a tree to fall or lose its branches. Suddenly there's a gap where the sunlight can pierce the darkness. Within days, new life takes root. And the giant felled tree begins to rot and provide food, habitat, and shelter for other species. In our human lives too, disturbance paves the way for flexibility, adaptability, and resilience. What if the challenges we are facing are there to disturb us, to shake us out of our stuckness, to force us to change and grow, to bring new light into our lives? Lessons from the forest. We are all connected. Build a strong foundation. Disturbance is not bad.
In the wild forests, trees communicate with one another through underground networks of mycorrhizal fungi. These fungi colonize tree roots, forming an interdependent and symbiotic relationship. They provide the trees with water and nutrients, while the trees feed the fungi glucose and sucrose. In addition, this fungal network allows trees to communicate with one another, to alert other trees of a pest invasion or perhaps a disease, so that their immune systems can prepare to respond. Professor of Forest Ecology Suzanne Simard has called this mycorrhizal network the Wood Wide Web. Just as individual trees are part of a larger collective called the forest, each of us is also part of a larger organism called humanity. Forests and humankind join other animals, plants, the earth, the universe, and all that is, to make another, even greater unity. That unity is the outward manifestation of the divine presence that I call God. Although we are not connected physically, no roots, no fungal network, we are connected spiritually. Our souls share a common source, and we are forever connected with that source. Like trees in the wild wood obtain information from the mother tree, we all receive inspiration, creativity, and insight from the divine. As we share our 3 minutes of shared silent meditation this morning, let us contemplate our connection with our Creator, our experience of being an expression of spirit. Trace that connection back to and then through spirit into the holy oneness of all of creation. See everyone as a unique aspect of who you are. See everything as part of what you are. Imagine looking through the eyes of divine presence. Behold the glory and holiness of all that is. Great Spirit, thank you for this love communion with you and with these saints joined here in this beloved community. Thank you for always maintaining our connection with you and with each other. Let us always remember our oneness with all of creation, and may we never forget who and whose we are. Trees do not compete for resources in the forest. They cooperate and communicate. And that is our true nature as well. When we compete, we affirm scarcity. When we communicate and cooperate, we firmly establish ourselves in God's pure abundance. Now we open our hearts, minds, and souls to the inspired wisdom of Reverend Diana this morning, and listen with new ears as she continues to share the lessons we can learn when we walk into the wild wood.
Lesson 4. If you can't get over it, grow around it. In other words, be adaptable. Many of the largest trees have grown around enormous rocks, their roots piercing the very stone, breaking down the rock into new soil. The trees cannot move the rocks, so they just grow around them. The same can be true for each of us. If I have a problem, or am suffering in some way, I can simply accept the situation as it is and use the challenge as new fertile soil, trusting that in time, even the deepest wounds heal and the hardest rocks break down. And new life will grow from the smallest shoot. Lesson 5. Live your life with presence, authenticity, and patience. Trees in the forest are always present and mindful of their surroundings, and are responsive to the changes around them in real time. No matter the shape, size, or color, a tree is always authentic in the way it presents itself. It doesn't pretend to be or want to be anything other than what it is. A tree is never in a hurry for the next season to come. It experiences the days one by one, simply standing its ground, living its life. In following the tree's example, we can learn to be present and responsive, mindful of the people and circumstances of our lives. We can present ourselves as who we are, content in the life we've been given, patiently awaiting life's next adventure. And lesson 6. Let go of what no longer serves you. You never see a tree hanging on to its leaves once they have changed from green to red, yellow, orange, or brown. It simply lets them go. And they settle to the ground and serve as food for the tree in the winter months. What if we were to let go of what no longer serves us, allowing it to serve as nourishment for the next season of our lives? We are all connected. Build a strong foundation. Disturbance is not bad. If you can't get over it, grow around it. Live your life with presence, authenticity, and patience. And let go of what no longer serves you. The wisdom of the wild wood. Let's close in prayer. Let my words be affirmations of truth in your life. There is one life forever unfolding, forever expressing as all of creation. I know this life as God, Spirit, Presence. By whatever name you call it, there is nothing else. You and I and all that exists are simply that life becoming. How beautiful to know that this is so. That each of us is spiritually perfect in all of our human imperfections. That I am, that each of us is exactly as we are supposed to be. And so I can relax and settle into the lessons offered by the trees, by the forests, which are all expressions of the sacred. I'm reminded that we are all connected to one another and to everything else. There truly is no separation. I remember the importance of a strong foundation. I root myself firmly in the earth and in my community, grateful for the support and sustenance offered there. I ground myself in spirit, keeping my practices strong and regular. I accept that disturbances are just the universe moving me along, keeping me from getting stuck, creating opportunities for growth and change so that I might be in a perpetual state of becoming. When I seem unable to overcome an obstacle, I choose to grow around it, trusting that time heals all wounds and that I have the capacity to hold both the pain and the joy of allowing new life to emerge. I live my life with presence, authenticity, and patience, letting go of what no longer serves, so that I might create space for new adventures. I'm so grateful for this awareness, so grateful for this space to gather with chosen family, and for each one sharing this space this morning. I give thanks for the thousands of tiny blessings that grace our lives, and I commit to noticing them as they are offered. Thank you, Spirit, for this day and for this amazing life. What a beautiful gift. A prayer spoken is a prayer answered, and so trusting and knowing that this prayer has done its good work, I release it now to the power and presence of Spirit, simply letting it go, letting it be. And so it is. Amen. So we gently return our awareness now to our bodies, connecting once again with our senses, noticing the sounds in the room, and the beautiful saints, as Chris put it, sitting all around us, sharing this time. And as we close our Taizé meditation, we offer the opportunity for you to share of your financial good in support of the work that we're doing in the world, in the community. So if you're joining us online, you can go to our website, mysticheart.org, You'll find a donate button, mailing address. And as we offer time this morning for our offering, I invite you to join Jason Mraz in going back to the earth.
One more time. Here you go. Just take it. Yeah. Do 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 do. Whenever my head starts to hurt, before it goes from bad to feeling worse, I turn off my phone, I get down low and put my hands in the dirt. I try to stop the world from moving so fast, try to get a grip on where I'm at, and simplify this dizzy life and put my feet in the grass. I'm going back to the earth, I'm going back to the earth, I'm going back to work, I'm going back to the earth. Ooh, yeah. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do, yeah. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Well, the only explanation for a high rise must mean that everybody wants to get high and move on up to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Well, the higher we go, the taller we grow. We lose sight of the land below. Well, you can have your places in outer space, 'cause my home is where my food is grown. I'm going back to the earth, I'm going back to the earth, I'm going back to work, I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to the earth, I'm going back to work, I'm going back to the earth. We are animals, we are wild, where we started with emotion at the bottom of the ocean, now we're swinging from the tops of the trees. We are animals, we are wild, and to truly be forgiven, we must all get back to living with the land in harmony. I'm going back to the earth, I'm going back to the earth, I'm going back to work, I'm going back to keep that going, yeah. Do 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 do, yeah. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Two more times around. Do 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 do, yeah. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. So one more time around the world. Do 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 do, yeah. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Gonna get a couple of my current faves today. Got him, and we have St. Michael Franti in the next service. So we say thank you for these gifts as they are offered today, knowing that they come of source through your hearts and your hands, through your lives, offered graciously into this community. And so we use them well to support our growth so that we can further give in the world. And so it is. Amen. So we will bless you on your way either to coffee or to your day with a soul's blessing.
May your soul always find what it's looking for.
this morning.
As we come together in the name of love, celebrating together today, celebrating our divine connection, realizing that everyone and everything is working together for our good, and that everything is an example of how to live our lives in peace and harmony and grace. And I know today that that flow continues in this talk with Reverend Diana representing that divine flow. We get to be here together and we get to see and know and feel that connection and know what's next for us. What is ours to do in the world? So in this grace and in this place of gratitude, I simply release, knowing it is already done, and together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Cherie. Such a beautiful prayer, creating such an open, beautiful space for us this morning. So if you're new with us online this morning, my name is Reverend Diana Johnson. I'm pastor and spiritual director of Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. We are an independent interfaith community, and we teach universal principles and practical spirituality. So we open our doors and welcome, and we trust that you will find within your own mystic heart the answers that you seek. We're going to begin our conversation this morning with some upbeat singing prayer. Upbeat singing prayer.
Welcome to Mystic Heart, join the celebration. Lift your voice and sing your part. Make this affirmation. Spirit made us family, with loving hearts to share. Together we are joyfully practicing the possible through prayer.
And everything's possible through
Prayer to the Mystic Heart. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you see. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
All right, it's time for the harvest, as my garden is telling me. So we have a harvest chant for this month. So you'll catch on quickly, I'm sure.
Our hands will work for peace and justice. Our hands will work to heal the land. Gather around the harvest table. Let us feast and bless the land. Around the world for peace and justice. Our hands will work to heal the land. Gather around the harvest table. Let us feast and bless the
So let's take a creative journey together, calling upon the full power of both heart and mind, engaging the body, feeling the presence of the divine moving through our prayer this morning. And we join together in the process of visioning a love-soaked world. See and feel with me now a world in which all beings live from their highest potential. All beings are living from kindness and generosity, from peace and compassion and joy, living lives of freedom, connection. In this world of our creation, all people honor, respect, and care for one another, for all of life, and for this beautiful planet that sustains us. We remember that we are connected to all of life, that we are dependent on the planet to sustain us and dependent on one another for our belonging and our connection. And so by aligning every thought, word, and action with our vision, we're creating a world in which all people are well fed, a world in which all people have the safety and comfort of home, and a deep sense of purpose and belonging. We're creating a world in which health, education, and healthy relationships are supported by social systems that are grounded in integrity, compassion, and wholeness. Valuing every being for its uniqueness, we practice living fully authentic lives where vulnerability is celebrated. There's no need to defend or protect ourselves. The work that we're doing within ourselves shows up as a world free of hatred and violence. Yes. We recognize and appreciate the abundance that surrounds us. Greed is a thing of the past, generosity is the norm, and all beings gratefully receive all that is needed to live physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually fulfilling lives. The planet and its beings thrive like never before as we recognize the sacred in everyone and everything. We walk in reverence, we walk in humility, and in gratitude for all that we've been given. We're creating a new world moment by moment, aligning our actions with our vision, living these changes first in our own lives, with our families, our friends, our neighbors, and our communities. And one by one community at a time, a new world is being born. In this process of profound change, this beloved community stands as an open and welcoming place for all who seek support, belonging, and family. By the power of our deep faith and our inspired action, this prayer is acted upon even as it's spoken. For Spirit knows our heart's desire, our pure intentions. In full expectation of its graceful unfolding, and with the deepest humility and gratitude, we release our word to the creative power and intelligence that I call God. We release our word to the one that gets it done, and so it is. Amen. Now I feel aligned. So our theme this month is wild wisdom. This has been a fun Sunday to prepare for. The topic of our conversation this morning is Into the Wild Wood. So I'm going to need my books that are down there because I'm going to share some passages today as the basis of our conversation. Let's see. I should have thought about this ahead of time. Nope, not that. And that's stuck.
Bell, book, and candle.
Okay, there we go. That seems to have attached itself. All right, now I'm good. So Into the Wild Wood. And this morning during Taizé, I shared some lessons that we might learn from a tree or from a forest. Spiritual lessons that, if we're paying attention, are just right there before us. So we contemplated our oneness and our interdependence with lesson 1, which was, and we're not going to talk about them much other than just to list them for now. Lesson 1 was we are all connected. In lesson 2, we reflected on the importance of building a strong foundation in our lives, physically and socially and spiritually, staying rooted. Lesson 3 brought the slightly uncomfortable idea that disturbances in our lives are not bad. They're there to spark our growth. Just like when the sunlight can't get through the tops of the trees to the ground, it takes something like a lightning storm or a flood to cause a tree to go down, a windstorm, and then the light can come in and new life can be born. So in our lives, disturbances are also not bad. They're uncomfortable sometimes. Very uncomfortable. So lesson 4 offered an invitation. If you can't get over it, grow around it. Just like a tree with a large boulder can't move the rock, it's just going to envelop that thing and eventually break it down into new soil. Lesson 5, let's see. Let me offer a little more on that. If you can't get over it, grow around it. Sometimes the effects of our childhood wounds stay with us for a long time. But they should never be the reason that we stop growing. If we do our work and we're willing to let them go, if we're willing to let them go, time does heal all wounds. So we talked about all of that. Lesson 5 invited us to live with presence, authenticity, and patience. And lesson 6 advised us to let go of what no longer serves us, like a tree letting its leaves go in the fall. There's not a tree around that hangs onto those leaves when it's time for them to hit the ground. So that we let all that stuff go and we use it as compost, right? To further our growth. So that was our Taizé. All of that said, I'm going to take a little bit of a right turn from there, and I've been enjoying a selection of books in preparation for this month, because we have different, next week will be the wisdom from the mountains, and then we have water, and I'm doing the desert, so it's going to be a nature mysticism month.
Good.
Which I love. So I thought it'd be fun to share some passages and have some conversation about what's there this morning. So I hope that that turns out to be okay with you. So the first book that I'm going to read from is called Earth, Our Original Monastery. It's a really beautiful book. And the first passage I want to share, and then I'll have some questions about it, is this. Of the many rich and fruitful paths available as part of the Christian tradition, she's talking about Christian monasticism, but I think you could also apply this to any monastic way of life, whether it's Buddhist or any other tradition. Of the many rich and fruitful paths available as part of the Christian tradition, the monastic way calls to me the strongest. The invitation to live life with more slowness, simplicity, and attentiveness is a rich gift in a world driven by speed, consumerism, and distraction. Contemplative practices help to offer an antidote to ways of living that have contributed to the destruction of Earth. Monastic tradition has its roots in a call to be in intimate connection with nature. The monk's path was birthed in the forests and deserts, the places of wilderness and other wild edges that reflect an inner reality as well. This call to the edges, which is the monk's call, is a call to wildness, to that which lies beyond our domesticated, neat, safe, and secure lives. Nature reminds us of the messiness and the beauty of things. Nature says that when we let ourselves get messy and play in the dirt, profound things can happen. Our work as spiritual seekers and contemplatives is to see all of creation as woven together in holiness and to live this truth. In this loving act, we begin to knit together that which has been torn. We gather all that has been scattered. Contemplative practice is a way to bring healing presence to the world. So, do you see this as part of your work? To see all of creation as woven together in holiness and to live this truth? Do you see that as your work or no? It's okay to say no. That's not mine.
I'm in.
Okay. Yeah. So what are some of the ways that you do that?
I start with trying to look at what's before me without preconceived notions.
Okay. To look at what is before me without preconceived notions. Boy, that's a life's work right there. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
When something happens to me I'm not real thrilled about, I try to find the nuggets in it. There's got to
Okay.
be something good.
All right. So something I'm not very thrilled about, but there's got to be a blessing here somewhere, right? A silver lining. Like another lifelong practice. Nice. What else, Chris?
Well, just kind of cleaning up after ourselves, recycling instead of throwing stuff away.
Okay.
Gardening with regenerative techniques instead of a lot of chemicals and that sort of thing. Just kind of treating the earth like we want our bodies should be treated.
Okay. So taking care of the planet by using responsible practices in whatever we do in our,
And then
with our homes.
buying organic as well, so that,
Yeah.
you know, so we're not contributing.
Nice. Mark?
I'll comment on that and what Chris had to say in the last session as well. It's a matter of connecting to the earth through ourselves. We're part of that. We're expressions
Yes.
of the earth. And when I see a tree and the imagery of the roots intertwining and all, it makes me feel grounded in a way. And so I can relate to that. And as I feel grounded, I'm realizing things larger, like a tree cannot run away from a problem.
That's right.
And it needs to find a way, and as it does so, I am inspired with the word enough. It's enough for the tree to have what it has and do its best under those circumstances. And it's the same for all of us. To remember that life is full of opportunity, and in that, it's enough.
It's enough. I love that image of the tree trying to run away.
It can't really happen. You know, I like to say, like, let's find a way to leave a lighter footprint on our mother's face. You know,
Yes.
and deeply believing, as we do, that we are connected in an equal plane to all things. There is one thing that sets us apart as humans. We have the ability to wield the greatest power of destruction or healing upon the land
Yes.
of any other species. The whales can't come out and destroy Redding. We can go in the ocean and destroy it. So with that responsibility, you know, what ways can we work with nature to leave the lightest footprint on her face? You know, if we're hunting or we're hiking and there's some random aluminum can 20 miles out in the middle of nowhere, we'll pick it up.
Right,
It's got no business there, but one of our brothers or sisters put it there.
right.
You know, so let's pick it up. When we go hunting and things, you need to be aware of how the drought has affected the plants, what animals eat those plants. So is the thing you're hunting going to be in that area? You have to be very in tune. But yeah, I just recently found that BioAmmo company, they make a 100% biodegradable, compostable shotgun shell. And hardly anyone carries it.
Wow.
I found one place in town that carries it, and I guarantee you I will buy it exclusively from them.
Right.
But and then I can spread that word. You know, they might call me a hippy dippy in the duck blinds, but I can at least try to spread the word that, hey guys, we all are doing this thing. We're all hunting for this thing. What if we could leave less of a footprint on our mother's face? I've recently been researching, does anyone make biodegradable fishing line? Because that fishing line we could circle the globe with the fishing line we've all had to cut off in our lifetime and leave in the water.
Yeah.
It's out there. There's hooks everywhere. There's line everywhere. Can we find ways to leave less of a footprint, and how can we work with the planet and the animals so that we become more of the stewards we were meant to be, and not the wrecking balls that we have become?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, so each one of us can do that in some way. Even something as simple as picking up a piece of trash when you're out on a walk.
Yeah, do that.
You know, clean up your neighborhood. There's lots of it out there. Lots of opportunities.
Sadly.
Yeah.
I work for the hospital, and it is, I feel like it's one of the most wasteful businesses possible. And it's not like I have the choice to go reuse a needle or something like that. I wouldn't want that.
No.
But we can take it a step further. I was like, how can I reduce the waste that I use in the hospital? I can keep myself healthy and out of the hospital.
Right.
So that's the start. Like, don't go to the hospital.
All right.
And the nurse at the hospital saying,
Eat
don't
the
go to
right
the
foods,
hospital.
exercise, take rest, you know, take care of yourself so that you're not there.
That's an interesting solution right there.
It is, huh?
Yeah.
Steer clear of the hospital.
And decide too, when it's your time to go, to how much materials and effort are you willing to put yourself? That's a very personal choice, but how much do you want to put into making it not your time to go?
Yeah. Right. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, keep me out of there. All right, so I have another little bit here, and this is speaking to that rootedness again. It's talking about the practice of stability, which is something we can learn from a tree as well. It says stability is one of the 3 vows that Benedictine monks make. It is a commitment to a particular monastery for life. Saint Benedict had special disdain for monks who would wander from place to place, because he knew well that when we try to outrun our issues in community, the issues will always follow us. Like, the issues, you know, wherever you go, there you are. You know, so. Saint Benedict required his monks to commit to a monastery for their whole lives so that they would not run away when things got challenging. Stability calls us to a commitment to work through the difficult things of our lives. We can run away both physically and emotionally in our desires for distraction, entertainment, and ease. When we are in a long-term relationship with another person or with a community, there will be times of challenge and times of boredom. The monastic way is to stay with this commitment and see what we are taught in the act of staying through the discomfort. This is the work of a lifetime. I think that's where I'm going to pause right now. So that quote, when we try to outrun our issues in community, our issues will always follow us. In light of that, do you see yourself as stable?
Like
see
this.
yourself as stable?
Like this. That's my stability.
Okay.
I don't know, it's weird. I move around a lot. Everywhere I go, I find myself.
That's right.
It's amazing.
Follows around,
So,
doesn't it?
do you tend to be one who stays with your challenges and works through them? Or do you tend to be one who looks for distractions and ways to kind of escape?
I let myself get captured by the TV more than I ought to, perhaps.
Yeah.
But to answer your question about stability, I
Yeah.
think that's an opportunity for us to feel balance in our lives.
Yeah.
And from that place of balance, which is a lot like being present in one spot, we have this opportunity to be creative in our own ways, to stabilize ourselves. It's an active thing.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's an active
And
process.
also to stabilize our emotions, to not be afraid of what's chasing us and following us, as you pointed out, but instead to project this good feeling of contentment that we can manifest if we just make the right choices.
Yes. Yeah, so that, I didn't even make the point, but running from emotions, that's another something that we don't want to, we like the happy ones, the good feeling ones, but the uncomfortable, the painful, the sad, the grief, we don't want to feel that stuff, and we can sure find ways to run from that sometimes as human beings. Is that a hand or?
5 fingers.
Okay, is that a hand that's raised?
Well, I guess it could be.
Okay.
I feel I'm pretty much very stably unstable.
Consistently unstable, that's me.
A little oxymoron.
Yeah.
It's being real.
I've moved in my life. Oh, go ahead, Chris. I didn't see your hand at first.
I was just going to comment,
Uh-huh.
Having been married 50 plus years, you
bit.
sit and reflecting, there were times when I would have loved to have run away.
Yeah.
And there are times when you need a little space. What concerned me about the comment was I was blessed to have a partner who was willing to work through his own issues.
Right.
Sometimes, and yes, you made the choice to get married to somebody,
Right.
but sometimes you're not making a right choice.
Yes.
So sometimes you do have to leave, and I'm thinking
Right.
of women who might be, or men, who might be in abusive relationships.
Right.
So I think you owe it to yourself and to everyone around you to recognize that and then take steps.
Yes.
To move forward and heal, because I'm not sure, as much as we'd like to stay rooted, it may not be the right place to be rooted.
Sometimes our very act of being stable, our stability, I'm going to say it's more rooted internally. And we can take that stability with us and change location and change job and change. I think what this is pointing to is how quickly do we do that? Do we run first, or do we really give a clear assessment of what's happening before we make a move? So that stability, can be an internal stability and still look like change in our lives. Yeah.
I was kind of thinking the same thing, like,
Mhm.
we gotta be careful with other people's definitions sometimes, and based on our own filters, how we internalize that message and think, oh, maybe I shouldn't leave him, he's only hit me 3 times, they're right, I
Right.
should stick it out. But,
Yeah.
but other than that, I think it comes down to more of an internal, being stable, internally, like, yeah, we're all committed to Mystic Hearts, right?
Right.
But I guarantee if this building is on fire, I'm not going to sit here and go, well, I made a commitment. Off we go, back to spirit, you know what I
Now
mean?
we know.
But I think sometimes as humans, we get so dug into the external
Right.
things that we think are things that represent stability. I mean, but it's more of an internal thing. Like, it also, for me, it also has to do a lot with like character and loyalty, and I have a very deep definition of loyalty. And I'm a very loyal, stable, for the most part I'm always the same. Unless something's terribly wrong, I'm always the same. And if you are what I consider to be part of my tribe or someone that I love, and even higher than that, if I call you a family member's name, then no matter what, I'm there. No matter what happens, no matter what you go through, no matter how much you annoy me, no matter how much I wish you would shut up, you know, whatever it is, I'm going to stay there. But there are some, like Chris was saying, there's some relationships where if the other person, if we're talking about people, if the other person is not willing to heal or address any of the things inside of them, there is only so far you can go.
Right.
And then you have to make the decision, the healthiest choice for yourself.
Yes.
And you know, given a job, maybe that you just stick it out, and you stay there and do the thing the best you can. But there are some times when you just got to take that thing and say it's maturity, and off I go with it.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree. I've been in the place of being the person who maybe doesn't give it enough time, you know, in terms of, I moved to a lot of houses in my life, every year for a while, for a lot of years. So that I can look back and recognize as I was looking for something and using that as, so that wasn't a stable behavior. However, there have been other, you know, jobs that I've chosen to leave. There have been other times where I've made changes where it was from a very stable position, that the change did not indicate an instability or a running away from. So I've had both in my life. I've done both. I think I'm much more stable now than I've ever been. But I've definitely been in both positions, so I think it's pretty human to occasionally look for escapes, whether it's a television or whether it's escape into food or whatever it is. Yeah, Kimberly?
I was married 23 years, and I became a chameleon. Well, I was a chameleon because I changed to please everybody. And then I got to a place where I was going to die or I was going to move on.
Right.
And nobody seemed to understand that, but I knew that I was dying.
Yeah.
And I changed and I moved out, and that was the hardest thing I ever did because I wasn't I was very insecure. But it was the best decision I ever made because here I am. Yeah. And my former husband found the love of his life, so yay for him.
Right.
And it was a blessing because it really showed my kids that I had my own power. Because they always thought of me as being kind of just there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so change can be absolutely the healthiest thing that we can do for ourselves. It's very situational.
And I'll say that stability has a job to help us to feel centered enough that we understand what our purpose is. Your purpose, as you just indicated, was to really find your authentic self and like it enough to go with it without this need to be distracted by others and be supported and dependent upon others. I think we have owed to ourselves to be as independent and as productive with purpose as we can be.
Thank you. So I'm going to shift to a book called Tending to the Sacred. This is Rituals to Connect with Earth, Spirit, and Self. It's a beautiful book. So there's another concept in here that we can learn by studying trees and forests, and that is the concept of reciprocity. What is that? What does that mean? What's reciprocity?
Give and take.
Give and take. Reciprocal. I give, it comes back. Whoops. There it went. Okay.
Didn't come back?
It didn't come back. Come on. So I'd like to share a short passage from here as well. Tending to the natural world is essential. We can no longer ignore or expect the earth to just be there giving us all that we need, shutting out her cries. Her resources are limited. She is our mother, and she is burning, melting, and roaring in a call for help for us to tend to her needs. Animals are becoming extinct, and others are abused and mistreated for profit, as are our trees, our sacred lungs here on earth. We're meant to connect to the natural world as if it were a friend, a sister or brother, mother or father. We are all a part of the same earth family. The trees need the air we exhale, yet we forget that we rely on them to breathe as well. We forget so easily just how important this relationship is for our mere existence. Our connection is such a simple act, but we've completely lost our intimacy with the natural world as a collective. Maybe some of the individuals in this space it may not be true for, but as a collective. And it's begging for us to return to this harmonious kinship. The earth is our mirror, the truest reflection for our collective. Its self-destruction and decay shows us the separation we've created with it, with ourselves and with all that is sacred, and with each other. When she burns, it mirrors the repressed anger we're holding from not meeting the needs of our spirit, for not listening to truth. Her polluted oceans reflect the pollution of our inner waters, our disrespect and dishonoring of the emotions and intuitive wisdom of the feminine. The remedy is actually quite simple. Conscious communication, love, and connection can help restore the balance. Our future depends on how we tend to the earth today. So, a lot of people believe that whatever is happening in nature has nothing to do with our behavior. That nature is an independent force, that it's just doing what it's doing. So do you believe that the earth is a mirror?
Yes.
So talk about that a little bit. In what ways?
Well, it seems to me that you can look at what's happening in nature,
Mm-hmm.
and it really shows you what's happening in mankind.
Okay.
Because it is a good mirror, and one we don't look into very often.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we start waking up and going, oh, well, if we let this go out of balance, we're out of balance.
Yeah.
Because we're all connected. Yeah.
If everything is an expression of the divine, then we have to be connected. It has to be a mirror. Seems to me. Chris?
Look, I have a question because I ponder this.
Mm-hmm.
Before we were as many human beings, and before we had all of our little inventions for transportation and ease of comforts at home, the earth was always doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And the earth had volcanoes. The
Mm-hmm.
earth had these, now I'm not saying there isn't global issues that we can't address,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm saying I think we exacerbate it.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of these things do come about naturally, and
Yeah.
they are for the earth's healing and growth.
Mm-hmm.
And we maybe just need to participate better with her rhythms and what she is going through. So I'm not saying there isn't global warming and there isn't any
Right.
of these things. All I'm saying is the earth has been doing a lot of this with or without us.
Yeah.
And how do we live in harmony with what
Right.
is her evolution?
Yeah. Is the mirroring more about the exacerbation you're talking about, the increase, or might that be happening anyway?
Yeah, it's hard for me
We
to,
don't know.
I keep playing with that in my mind because it's a question that I have.
Yeah.
The earth is expressing the fact that change is constant with us. And we need to learn from what the earth is saying, if it could speak, with these catastrophes that are going on, it's not like, oh, we're bad and we're being punished. I don't think that's useful.
No.
What's useful is we need to recognize about change and compensate and grow with it and understand it for safety's sake, for one thing.
I think sometimes as a species we get distracted by the very large and we forget about the very small. And yeah, I don't think that me personally that I caused a hurricane on the other side of the planet with just my simple actions. However, let's go smaller. So, I don't know if many of you know, but over 100,000 migratory birds are dead on the border of Oregon and California right now from avian botulism. That is a naturally occurring bacteria, yes. However, it is grown out of control and has killed 100,000 birds because humans thought it was a good idea to dry up the wetlands and build a dam. Then we go, oh no, we've killed all the birds by letting this bacteria grow that should have been dispersed naturally by moving water. So let's instead open the dam, flood the entire area, but now the fish eggs have all been dispersed and now we've hurt the salmon. When human beings put their very bright ideas and we think that we can control nature's balance, which she does have her own natural balance. She shifts, she changes, she moves, she works with the microorganisms that we can't see. It's all in a natural balance. When we stick our dirty hands in the water, we contaminate it. It's the little things that we do that ripple out and affect her. And then we go, oh no, how can we fix our mistake by making another bright mistake? And I think that we just need to learn how to work with the planet more and leave it alone, man. The more we alter it, the more we shift her face, obviously she's going to not quite look the same in future generations. I don't have anything against back burning, underbrush burning. The Native Americans and all the civilizations back tended the forests. But they did it with permission, and they did it with spiritual connection. They would listen to the trees and determine which ones needed to be thinned, and which ones were life-giving grandmother trees, and which ones needed to be there. We have forgotten about asking permission.
Yes.
It's not just ours to just have a great human idea with our human mind, and forget our spiritual connection, and just. Have you watched, I don't know if you watch things, but the Lord of the Rings of Power new series is just a simple little thing. Okay. So there are, and we believe in our family that there are spiritual beings that tend certain things on the planet. Okay. So in the show, there's these two, they're tree guardians, they're tree nymphs, right? And the one comes across where her forest has been destroyed. And for no reason, right? Just for industry, the whole forest. And she starts sobbing. These were my children. I tended these seedlings. Me and Miley are sobbing like babies because that's how we feel about it. Like imagine that, being a spirit guardian and this is your forest and some humans came and just took it for no reason.
Yeah.
And that's what we forget. Maybe the nature has an emotional aspect to it.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Why do we have to have these catastrophes before we learn?
Yeah. Well, we don't
Stay
have
awake.
to. We're waking up. We don't have to. That's.
There's a lot of ignorance that needs to be slapped awake.
Or maybe healed.
I know. Smiley?
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of hard for like us to speak to systems that have already been established. Like, but I think as a mom, it's really important to me to like teach the children because they're kind of willing to learn. They're still forming like their opinions. Yeah. So like I am seeing the youth and like become more in tune. Yeah. So I think there is an opportunity for the younger generation to learn to be more in tune and to like build that respect and to pay attention. And
Mm-hmm.
I think there's hope, and I think it's hard for us to see it sometimes as adults because it's like all of these systems just keep on going and it's hard to make big change at the top.
Right,
But
no.
if the change is kind of turning like into like the underlying mentality of the younger generation, I think there is a chance for
Yeah.
the younger generations to continue that and build new systems.
Yes.
I agree with that, and I think that really from younger generations and grassroots levels of things is how big change always happens from the ground up, not from the top. Yeah, I see that happening too.
And it's our job who've been here longer to support.
To support.
We need to
And to
support
teach.
and teach and
Mhm.
support.
Yeah.
Teach your children.
Because there's still many of us that are poo-pooing it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help. Because
Yeah.
I think the youth are the spiritual cavalry and we need to support them.
Yeah. There's a biblical story of, Moses and the people wandering the desert for 40 years. Well, the symbolic representation in that story is that the generation has to die off before the next generations can fully, move into a new way of being. And, so this is a similar thing that over time that's what will happen because that's the natural cycle of things. But if we can jumpstart that by being the ones amongst us in our age ranges to teach and support, as you said, yeah, it's important. David?
I think the term I've heard a lot is indigo children coming,
Yeah. Yeah.
and starting to awaken.
Well, evolution is happening, and so it makes sense that children are being born in a more evolved state of,
Yeah.
of knowing and understanding. And that's part of the evolutionary process.
I think we've called for them. We've been calling for
Yeah.
them. And they're
Yeah.
coming.
So I'd like to share one more reading. I don't want to take us too late, but I have one more that I have some slides for in a moment, not quite yet. I want to read it first. This was written by Hermann Hesse, or Hesse, in 1917 and 18. So this is an older piece of writing. And it's called The Preaching of Trees. For me, trees have always been the most penetrating preachers. I revere them when they live in tribes and families, in forests and groves, and even more I revere them when they stand alone. In their highest boughs the world rustles, their roots rest in infinity. But they do not lose themselves there. They struggle with all the force of their lives for one thing only, to fulfill themselves according to their own laws, to build up their own form, to represent themselves. Trees are sanctuaries. Whoever knows how to speak to them, whoever knows how to listen to them, can learn the truth. They do not preach learning and precepts. They preach, undeterred by particulars, the ancient law of life. A tree says, "A kernel is hidden in me, a spark, a thought. I am life from eternal life. The attempt and the risk that the Eternal Mother took with me are unique. Unique the form and veins of my skin, unique the smallest play of leaves in my branches, and the smallest scar on my bark. I was made to form and reveal the eternal in my own smallest special detail." A tree says, "My strength is trust. I know nothing about my Father. I know nothing about the 1,000 children that every year spring out of me. I live out the secret of my seed to the very end and care for nothing else. I trust that God is in me. I trust that my labor is holy. Out of this trust I live." When we are stricken and cannot bear our lives any longer, then a tree has something to say to us. Be still, be still. Look at me. Life is not easy. Life is not difficult. Those are childish thoughts. Let God speak within you, and your thoughts will grow silent. You are anxious because your path leads away from mother and home, but every step and every day lead you back again to the mother. Home is neither here nor there. Home is within you, or home is nowhere at all. A longing to wander tears my heart when I hear trees rustling in the wind at evening. If one listens to them silently for a long time, this longing reveals its kernel, its meaning. It is not so much a matter of escaping from one's suffering, though it may seem to be so. It is a longing for home, for a memory of the mother, for new metaphors for life. It leads home. Every path homeward, every step is birth. Every step is death. Every grave is mother. So the tree rustles in the evening when we stand uneasy before our childish thoughts. Trees have long thoughts, long breathing and restful, just as they have longer lives than ours. They are wiser than we are, as long as we do not listen to them. But when we have learned how to listen to trees, then the brevity and the quickness and the childlike hastiness of our thoughts achieve an incomparable joy. Those who have learned to listen to trees no longer want to be a tree. They want to be nothing except what they are. That is home. That is happiness. That whole passage just, So I'd like to take a look. I have a couple slides from just a couple sections, and I wanted you to visually be able to see them. And when we're looking for what lesson is this thing trying to teach us? The first one I want to look at, a tree says, a kernel is hidden in me, a spark, a thought. I am life from eternal life. The attempt and the risk that the Eternal Mother took with me are unique. Unique in form and veins of my skin, unique the smallest play of leaves in my branches and the smallest scar on my bark. I was made to form and reveal the eternal in my own smallest special detail. What is there for us? What is there for us?
To accept the holiness in us.
Accept.
That God is in us.
Okay. To accept our own holiness.
Well, that, to me, that speaks of authenticity, but it also, it's also like it's also like a call to step into our authenticity and fully inhabit who we are and what God made us to be, if you will.
So to fully step into what God made us to be, our authentic selves that we are. Chris?
Building on that without shame.
Without shame. Yeah. What?
I love the smallest play of leaves in my branches and the smallest scar on my bark. I like very much this notion that the tree is finding itself playing with its smallest parts. I don't know how that relates to what we just, but I liked it anyway.
Yeah. David?
I'm not sure this relates, but I have been amazed when I'm taking Sophie for walks. That instead of just walking through a path through the trees and on to somewhere, she spends time with a lot of trees and gets really involved in that tree, and will stop for a minute or two. And then I get involved in the tree because she brought me along.
Yeah. Noticing the uniqueness of each
Yes, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
It just looks like it's still, but there's a lot going on.
And turning that back on ourselves and accepting our own uniqueness. That every little piece of who we are, every part of who we are is intentionally there. We're here the way we are because creation wanted to experience that. So the things that we look at as faults, you know, the thing, you know, I look in the mirror and maybe I would rather have this or that or, no. What you see is what you get. And it's good, and it's real, it's authentic.
It's good.
Yes.
You know, say Mother Nature does not create in straight lines. So if you see straight lines, people have been there.
Right.
Well, you know, if you think about the whole, no two trees are identical.
Right.
No, even if they're the same species, they're completely individual. They make their own choices, how they move, how they grow, where they put their energy, how they twist toward the sun. Down to the smallest plants on the ground, they're all individual, but underneath they're all connected.
Right.
But I just have the funniest thought, like I'm pretty sure that like there's not a bunch of pine trees somewhere and one pine tree's only got like 2 branches and all the other trees are like sending signals like, ugh, dude, you're different. You know? Yeah, we all got 3 branches, man. Like you made bad decisions. And just like, this guy's, he's different. And how nature doesn't notice those differences.
No. Right.
It's like celebrated in nature, and only we do that.
So let's recognize that we are part of nature, and let's not make those judgments either.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, next paragraph, favorite paragraph. I have 3. Second one. A tree says, "My strength is trust. I know nothing about my Father. I know nothing about the thousands of children that every year spring out of me. I live out the secret of my seed to the very end and care for nothing else. I trust that God is in me. I trust that my labor is holy. Out of this trust I live." What is this trying to teach us, point toward?
Do your best self as you see it and leave the rest up to the higher power, and that's the trust that what you are doing from your authentic self is what you are supposed to be doing.
Okay, so trusting that authentic self to be and to do what it is called to do.
That authentic self is the seed.
Yes. Nice.
I trust that I'm stronger than I know.
I trust that I'm stronger than I know. Yeah. What?
That I trust what I'm doing. It's about the doing part and letting it be as it is. In the doing, we question ourselves far too much, and I think that's our undoing, actually.
Yeah. It's in the doing. It's our undoing.
Yeah, trust is just the freedom to live, just be.
Yeah.
No expectations.
No expectations of self or others, right?
Know that I'm okay.
Know that I'm okay.
I love that. I live out the secret of my seed. That's like your what you're here to do, your dharma, if you will. It's each one of us has a set of gifts to share with the whole that nobody else can give those gifts.
Right. So that becomes our place, our work. Right?
It brings to mind like not giving up, because you see a lot of it's sometimes hard to see the fruit of your labor, of what you're doing, or maybe you're like we were talking about the last couple of weeks of like making a difference and seeing someone and saying something to someone that might encourage them, and maybe you like never see that person again. And you think of like Tesla, or you know, some of those people that really like had kind of a life that they didn't really live to see how far they impacted things. But and it kind of just speaks to not giving up, and persistence, and just living in your truth no matter what the outcome may look like.
And trusting that those ripples are there. You don't have to know what they are. If you're being in your authentic self and giving the best of what you have to give, the ripples are going to go on forever. April.
Well, sometimes I think we want to see the end result or the difference or the impact,
Right.
maybe for our own validation that what we're doing is in fact having an impact.
Yeah.
But just stepping out of that, and just being in purpose and being authentic, being who you are, and these little acts of kindness and these little differences, and you never know, and being able to be satisfied with not seeing the validation of your work,
Right.
and just trusting that somewhere down the line you make a difference
Yeah.
in some small way, and letting that possibility and hope be satisfying.
Yes.
Thank you. I want to go to the
One love thoughts thing, please, quickly.
Yes.
The secret, I mean, we all have secrets, and why not reveal what these secrets of ourselves are? Well, this is our opportunity to do so. I just think that's the blessing.
All right.
Fear.
Reveal your secrets.
Fear that keeps them in.
Thank you. So one final piece of that reading. When we are stricken and cannot bear our lives any longer, then a tree has something to say to us. Be still, be still. Look at me. Life is not easy. Life is not difficult. Those are childish thoughts. Let God speak within you and your thoughts will grow silent. Home is neither here nor there. Home is within you, or home is nowhere at all. What does this passage have to say to you, Michael?
Stop being judgmental.
Stop being judgmental. Okay. Why do we have to call things hard or easy? Can't they just be what they are?
And home, as you said earlier about having to move every year, is where you are now.
Right.
You can only love that idea.
Yeah. Home is within you. And take home with you.
I'd say home. Home's a feeling.
Home is a feeling.
It's not a place.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist in my chairs and my silverware and that one fork that's different that I hold on to, and our blankets and any of these material things. You know, home is like an internal state of being,
right,
where you can be all the things that you are, and a space where others can be all the things that they are, and accept and just be in a place of love, and then you can be home anywhere.
Right.
Right.
I have always enjoyed using the phrase here, welcome home. And that's exactly what I mean by that. It's welcome home. Welcome to that place that you're invited to just be who you are, as you are, and be welcomed and accepted and loved for that. All of that's wrapped in my welcome home. Yes.
But that's an internal place.
Yes, it is.
That's where we accept ourselves,
Yeah.
too. And
Right.
yes, it's nice to be in a physical community.
Right.
But all that you just said is what needs to
Right.
be felt in the heart,
Yes.
in the self.
And that's my, I'll call it a goal, my purpose, I guess, if you will, is to create the space for people to find that within themselves. Not that I'm going to bring it to them, just to create the space where that possibility exists.
Well, you
It
you
is.
did it.
Well, we're continuing the work.
Work in progress.
Work in progress always. Cheryl?
Bringing that about coming home and be with myself. For a long time, knowing I'm hard of hearing, I had a problem with that for a long time. And I finally realized that's my uniqueness. And I've learned to accept that. I may make mistakes, don't know all my words to say them right, but I always ask for help.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me grow, be a better person, and be there for everyone.
All right, thank you. Is there anything else that needs to be spoken in this space this morning before we close up? I'm going to offer a prayer, and I'm going to ask that sometimes we thin out way early, but we have quite a few newer invitations this morning, things coming up, and I don't have a bulletin quite ready yet. So if we could all hang out till the end of things today, just so that you have the information that's coming up, and then I will get that bulletin out just as soon as I can. So let's close in prayer. Let my words of affirmation ring true for you as well. There is one life forever and ever unfolding. Forever expressing as all of creation. I know this life as God, as Spirit, as Creator, as Presence. By whatever name you call it, there is nothing else. There is nothing else. You and I, and all that exists, are simply expressions of that life becoming and becoming and becoming. How beautiful to know that this is true. That each of us is spiritually perfect, even in all of our human imperfections. That I am, and each of us is exactly as we're supposed to be. Nothing broken, nothing missing, nothing needing to be added. So I can relax and settle into the lessons offered by the trees, by the forests, which are all expressions of the sacred. I'm reminded that we're all connected to one another and to everything else, that there truly is no separation. I remember the importance of building a strong foundation in my life. I root myself firmly in the earth and in my community, grateful for the support and the sustenance offered there. I ground myself in spirit, keeping my practices strong and regular. I accept that disturbances are just the universe moving me along, keeping me from getting stuck, creating opportunities for growth and change, so that I might be in a perpetual state of becoming myself. When I seem unable to overcome an obstacle, I choose to grow around it, trusting that time heals all wounds, that I have the capacity to hold both the pain and the joy of allowing new life to emerge. I live my life with presence, with authenticity, and with patience, letting go of what no longer serves, so that I might create space for new adventures. I'm so grateful for this awareness, so grateful for this space to gather with chosen family, and for each one sharing the space this morning. Saints, everyone. I give thanks for the thousands of tiny blessings that grace our lives every day, and I commit to noticing them as they are being offered. Thank you, Spirit, for this day, for this amazing life. What a fantastic gift. A prayer spoken is a prayer answered. And so, trusting and knowing that this prayer has done its good work, I release it now to the power and presence of Spirit, simply letting it be. And so it is.
And so it is.
Amen. Aho. Fun to spend time with the trees this morning. Thank you for joining me in the forest, in the wildwood. So I invite you to join in the celebration of the work we're doing. Come on in, Roland. by sharing of your financial good with our community so that we might continue to build and grow. If you're at home, you can go to mysticheart.org. If you're just in time for music, yay! You'll find a donate button or mailing address at our mysticheart.org. And we also have a gracious giving program should you feel called to make a monthly contribution that we can count on to help in our budgeting. So as we receive your gifts today, celebrate the many flavors. Oh no, that's from last week. As we receive your gifts today, join me in getting up and boogieing, if you wish, to the one I'm lately calling Saint Michael, Michael Franti and Spearhead. Good day for a good...
Why does everybody in the world seem so divided? Why does everybody gotta hate each other? Who decided? If I took all the world's pride and all the world's money and wrapped it in a blanket and put it in a buggy, could you see that maybe that baby was just the same as you are? You know it's never been easy. Every day for everybody ain't breezy. And I hope you realize when you look into another person's eyes, you know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. All day long, all day long. Good days, please come more often. Everybody's in the streets out coughing. Smog in the air, gonna send you to your coffin. Plastic everywhere down there with the dolphins. Everybody was born to a mama, so everybody is connected like karma. So disconnect yourself from the drama. Everybody's trying to heal like trauma. You know it's never been easy. Every day for everybody ain't breezy. And I hope you realize when you look into another person's eyes, you know today will be a very good day just to have a good day. You know today will be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. And I say, hey, hey, put all my troubles to the side. And I say, hey, hey, thank God that we're alive. And I say, hey, hey, put all my troubles to the side. And I say, hey, hey, thank God that we're alive. Today will be a very good day just to have a good day. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. All day, hey, hey, all day long, hey, hey, all day long, hey, hey, all day long, hey, hey. Today would be a very good day. For a good day, for a good day, you know that, for a good day, yeah we need one, for a good day, we got this, for a good day.
So fun. And I love how he just creates that joyful space. And feeling that space of joy, that space of love, that space of community. I'm simply grateful for these gifts and that I know that they do good work in the world and are treated with respect and love and giving. So I simply release this prayer, knowing it is already done. And together we say, so it is. Thank you. And then just stand for our closing song, Love Be With You.
have a prayer room in our new place. So we won't have to rush everybody out of the sanctuary.
Right?
All right, thanks for being here through all of the new stuff coming up. And let's sing.